Good day, my name is Mike Corrigan. I am an herbalist, master herbalist, a formulator, and an educator in natural products for life seasons. I'm here today to acquaint you with a product that, again, is one of those items that has surfaced due to age-related problems here in the industrialized society. The situation that we're dealing with today, however, is a little bit different. This is one that's associated with hormones. And this is a very, very common, somewhat age-related problem. How to solve it will take up the next few minutes as we talk a little bit about a genitourinary problem in males. Of course, we're talking about benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. The symptoms that are most troublesome include decreased output of urine, a situation with diminished stream, dribbling, nocturia, which is, of course, getting up many times during the night, an incomplete emptying of the bladder, which sometimes can lead to a variety of different infectious states and urinary tract infections, bladder infections, and so forth. The formula that is known as Pros-T, going to find literally 3 of the very best, most researched items in the phytomedicine area for benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, or prostate enlargement. Should clarify that just a little bit. We've got, first of all, saw palmetto, or Seronoa repens, sometimes also known by the older name as Sabal cerulata. And we have the product known as Pygeum Africanum. And last but not least, something that's actually not quite the same from a phytomedicine standpoint, but still related and derived from plants, and that is Swedish flower pollen. It goes by a branded name, Genitourinary, which has been in the marketplace and being very effective not only here but in Europe over a 35-year period of time. Now, of these items, the saw palmetto probably is the most well-researched and has the biggest impact on the symptoms that we just talked about. The key here, from the standpoint of the saw palmetto extract, is to make sure that you're dealing with a product that is rich in plant sterols and fatty acids. Also, that it has the correct component of flavonoid compounds, flavones as well. By the time we put all 3 of those together, it makes up a specific compound that has been actually compared to one of the best-selling pharmaceutical products on the market, that being the generic item known as finasteride. And let's spend just a little bit of time talking about the saw palmetto, what it is, where it comes from, and we'll move on to Swedish pollen. And then finally we'll end up with Pygeum. And in that order, 1, 2, 3, you'll find not only the research but the effectiveness of each one of those products. And each one of them actually do something a little bit different, have some common effects, but have some definite different effects as well. When we talk about saw palmetto, or Seronoa, we're dealing with the extract of a berry from Florida dwarf palm. The product itself has been utilized not only in the area of nutrition as a food for many hundreds of years. The Aboriginal Indians of Florida and basically throughout that Gulf area utilized it as a food. The main ability that it has is literally that it contains a compound which is in fact active on the cell tissue of the prostate gland, which of course in benign prostatic hyperplasia is growing out of control from the stimulation of a variety of different factors. And so what we find with the addition of saw palmetto is an ability to override that and take care of something called the 5-alpha reductase inhibition. The fact of the matter is that this particular compound does in fact stop the prostate from enlarging, and in so doing, because of the way the ureter runs through the prostate gland, it also has the ability to overcome some of those symptoms like nighttime nocturia, situations with dribbling and decreased urinary stream and force. Swedish pollen, on the other hand, is a little bit different. It has the same ability to deal with urinary symptoms. Recent studies showed that of the population of folks that were involved with it, this being men in the age of basically 50 plus, 70% of these men mentioned that they had a beneficial effect, success in controlling some of those urinary symptoms. One of the main effects of Swedish pollen is that it utilizes basically a cell tissue inhibitor, which has some of the same effects as saw palmetto has. Now, the last one that we want to talk about is Pygeum Africanum. Pygeum literally is an item that has been in high demand over the course of the last few years, and consequently it's been somewhat difficult to acquire at some points in time. However, the formula does have Pygeum Africanum in it, and one of the things that it differs in from the flower pollen and Serenoa is that it has the ability to control inflammation. And one of the things that happens in benign prostatic hyperplasia is that because we have a tendency towards an incomplete emptying of the bladder, that we tend to have a tendency towards urinary tract and bladder infections, so that Pygeum Africanum tends to be, in its anti-inflammatory effect, a very good addition to the formula. The particular formula wouldn't be complete without several different nutritional supplement compounds that go well with the plant compounds. It turns out that the problem in the prostate is going to respond very well to zinc, selenium, and vitamin D, all for various and sundry reasons. The zinc product, the reason that we deal with and include zinc there, and not only is that it a very critical component of human sexuality, but it also has a very unique ability in that because we deal with estrogen levels that inhibit zinc in this particular problem, we tend to be deficient in zinc. And with some of the deficiencies in diet as well, unless we supplement, oftentimes we don't receive enough zinc or elemental zinc in our diet and nutrition to overcome the problem. Selenium happens to be a very, very high antioxidant, very effective when combined with vitamin E. Actually, because these are fatty tissues, both E and selenium are extremely beneficial in the antioxidant ability to control free radical damage. Then finally, vitamin D, D3, which is calciferol in this case, a very good assimilable form of vitamin D, is in fact a product that has not only a unique ability to control some of the problems with cholesterol and cholesterol plaquing, but it also has a very unique blueprinting effect in which cellular growth or in fact cellular integrity is enhanced. And in fact, since we are dealing with a problem here in that we have a somewhat uncontrolled growth or enlargement of the prostate, vitamin D3 may in fact be the cellular blueprinting mechanism that keeps that under control. Now the idea here is that this particular product, along with some changes in diet, again, there's a couple of things that you can do that will greatly enhance your ability to control this problem. One of those happens to be that you eat from the carotenoid complexes that we've already talked about, specifically tomatoes. Lycopene also tends to be an item that's extremely valuable here. However, it's necessary in such large amounts that it wouldn't actually be appropriate in the formula. We have to take it separately. You need to include some vitamin E and make sure that it is a naturally occurring D-alpha tocopherol, vitamin E. And you need to take that at something in the neighborhood of between 400 and 800 milligrams for it to be effective. Do those things, get some regular exercise, make sure that the tendency to saturated fats is controlled, avoid red meats where possible, and it's entirely possible to completely control benign prostatic hyperplasia with diet. Thank you.